Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. It's me, ThomasTubeHD, and welcome back to part 3 of reading Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 book. The third live stream of reading this book now. And while we are 1 minute and 30 seconds in, we're just gonna jump straight back into where we last left off. So last time we got a lot of details and a lot of explaining from Captain Beatty visiting Guy Montag at his home, and explaining how how the world of Fahrenheit 451 got to what it is famously known to be. And last we left off at page 60. So we're just going to now continue on. And then we're about to get to the next chapter of Fahrenheit 451. So, without further ado, let's continue this. Checking to see if the live stream is like going fine. I wouldn't want me just reading. I wouldn't want me to just read my book for like 1.5 hours and just come back watching the vault and just see it's got a lot of details. It all didn't look very well. Captain Beatty visiting Guy Montag at his home and explaining how how the world of Fahrenheit 4. Says there's something wrong with the stream, but what do you mean? What are you talking about? does not like it. See, the audio is fine, but I think so long as I just hold the book open wide and clear, you guys could still see what I'm reading on about. So without further ado, let's just get back into it. With page 60, and it's long paragraph here before we get into the next one, the next part. Across the street and down the way, the other houses stood with the flat fronts. What was it? Clarice had said one afternoon. No front porches. My uncle says there used to be front porches, and people sat there sometimes at night, talking when they wanted to. Talking when they wanted to talk, rocking, and not talking when they didn't want to talk. Sometimes they just sat there and thought about things, turned things over. My uncle says the architects got rid of the front porches because they didn't look well, but my uncle says that was merely rationalizing it. The real reason, hidden underneath, might be they didn't want people sitting like that, doing nothing, rocking, talking. That was the wrong kind of social life. People talked too much, and they had time to think, so they ran off with the porches, and the gardens too. Not many gardens anymore to sit around in and look at the furniture. No rocking chairs anymore. They're too comfortable. Get people up and running around. My uncle says, and my uncle. Her voice faded. Clarice's family should have been taken away long ago. Otherwise, especially Clarice, wouldn't be having an effect on Montag right now. But too late. Anyways, page 61, and it's a new section. Montag turned and looked at his wife, who sat in the middle of the parlor talking to an announcer, who, in turn, was talking to her. Mrs. Montag, he was saying this, that, and the other. Mrs. Montag, something else, and still another. The converter attachment, which had cost them $100, automatically supplied her name whenever the announcer addressed his anonymous audience, leaving a blank where the proper syllables could be filled in. A special spot, Wavex Scrambler, also caused his televised image in the area immediately about his lips to mouth the vowels and consonants beautifully. He was a friend, no doubt of it, a good friend. Mrs. Montag, now look right here. In the area immediately about his lips to mouth the vowels and consonants beautifully. He was a friend, no doubt of it, a good friend. Mrs. Montag, now look right here. Her head turned, though she quite obviously was not listening. Montag said, "It's only a step from not going to work today to not working tomorrow, to not working at the firehouse ever again. You are going to work tonight, though, aren't you?" said Mildred. "I haven't decided. Right now I've got an awful feeling. I want to smash things and kill things." "Go take the Beetle." "No thanks. The keys to the Beetle are on the night table. I always like to drive fast when I feel that way. You get it right up around 95 and you feel wonderful. Sometimes I drive all night and come back and you don't know it. It's fun out in the country. You hit rabbits, sometimes you hit dogs. Go take the beetle. No, I don't want to, this time. I want to hold on to this funny thing. God, it's gotten big on me. I don't know what it is about. I don't know what it is. I'm so damned unhappy. I'm so mad. And I don't know why. I feel like I'm putting on weight. I feel fat. I feel like I've been saving up a lot of things and don't know what. I might even start reading books. They'll put you in jail, wouldn't they? She looked at him as if he were behind the glass wall. He began to put on his clothes, moving restlessly about the bedroom. Yes, and it might be a good idea. Before I hurt someone, did you hurt Beatty? Did you listen to him? He knows all the answers. He's right. Happiness is important. Fun is everything. And yet I kept sitting there saying to myself, if I'm not happy, I'm not happy. I am, Mildred's mouth beamed, and proud of it. I'm going to do something, said Montag. I don't even know what yet, but I'm going to do something big. I'm tired of listening to this junk, said Mildred, turning from him to the announcer again. Montag touched the volume control in the wall, and the announcer was speechless. Millie, he paused. This is your house as well as mine. I feel it's only fair that I tell you something now. I should have told you before, but I wasn't even admitting it to myself. I have something I want you to see. Something I've put away and hid during the past year. Now and again, once in a while. I didn't know why, but I did it, and I never told you. He took hold of a straight-backed chair and moved it slowly and steadily into the hall near the front door, and climbed up on it, and stood for a moment like a statue on a pedestal, his wife standing under him, waiting. Then he reached up and pulled down the grill of the air conditioning system, and reached far back inside to the right, and moved still another sliding sheet of metal and took out a book. Without looking at it, he dropped it to the floor. He put his hand back up and took up 2 books and moved his hand down and dropped the 2 books to the floor. He kept moving his hand and dropping books, small ones, fairly large ones, yellow, red, green ones. When he was done, he looked down upon some 20 books lying at his wife's feet. Things got to get real. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't really think, but now it looks as if we're in this together. Mildred backed away as if she were suddenly confronted by a pack of mice that had come up out of the floor. He could hear her breathing rapidly, and her face was pale out, and her eyes were fastened wide. She said his name over twice, 3 times. Then, moaning, she ran forward, seized a book, and ran toward the kitchen incinerator. He caught her, shrieking. He held her, and she tried to fight away from him, scratching. No, Millie, no. Wait, stop it. Will you? You don't know. Stop it. He slapped her face. He grabbed her again and shook her. She said his name and began to cry. Millie, he said. Listen, give me a second, will you? We can't do anything. We can't burn these. I want to look at them. At least look at them once. But then if what the captain says is true, we'll burn them together. Believe me, we'll burn them together. You must help me. He looked down into her face and took hold of her chin and held her firmly. He was looking not only at her, but for himself and what he must do. In her face. Whether we like this or not, we're in it. I've never asked for much from you in all these years, but I ask it now. I plead for it. We've got to start somewhere here. We've got to start somewhere here, figuring out why we're in such a mess. You and the medicine knights and the car and me and my work. We're heading right for the cliff, Billy. God, I don't want to go over. This isn't going to be easy. We haven't anything to go on, but maybe we can piece it out and figure it out and help each other. I need you so much right now. I can't tell you. If you love me at all, you'll put up with this 48 hours. That's all I ask. Then it'll be over. I promise, I swear. And if there is something here, just one little thing out of a whole mess of things, maybe we can pass it on to someone else. She wasn't fighting anymore, so he let her go. She snagged away from him and slid down the wall and sat on the floor looking at the books. Her foot touched one, and she saw this and pulled her foot away. That woman, the other night, Millie, you weren't there. You didn't see her face. And Clarice, you never talked to her. I talked to her, and men like Beatty are afraid of her. I can't understand it. Why should they be afraid of someone like her? But I kept putting her alongside the fireman in the house last night, and I suddenly realized I didn't like them at all, and I didn't like myself at all anymore, and I thought maybe it would be best if the firemen themselves were burnt. Guy, at the front door, or a voice called softly. Mrs. Montag, someone here, someone here. Mrs. Montag, someone here. Softly. They turned to the stair at the door, and the books toppled everywhere in heaps. Beatty, said Mildred. It can't be him. He's come back. He's come back, she whispered. The front door voice called again softly. Someone here. We won't answer. Montag lay back against the wall, and then slowly sank to a crouching position and began to nudge the books bewilderingly with his thumb, his forefinger. He was shivering, and he wanted, above all, to shove the books up through the ventilator again, but he knew he could not face Beatty again. He crouched, and then he sat, and the voice of the front door spoke again, more insistently. Montag picked a single small volume from the floor. Where do we begin? He opened the book halfway and peered at it. We begin by beginning, I guess. He'll come in, said Mildred, and burn us and the books. The front door voice faded at last. There was a silence. Montag felt the presence of someone beyond the door, waiting, listening. Then the floor steps going away down the walk and over the lawn. Let's see what this is, said Montag. He spoke the words haltingly and with a terrible self-consciousness. He read a dozen pages here or there and came at last to this. It is computed that 11,000 persons have at several times suffered death rather than submit to break their eggs at the smaller end. Mildred sat across the hall from him. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. The captain was right. Here now, said Montag. We'll start over again, at the beginning. Captain Beatty was like very close to just breaking down the door and just go at it at Montag. But he just backed away, probably calling the firehouse to get the equipment to burn Montag's house down, but still. for now, Captain Beatty just left Montag and Mildred to start reading, and that's the first chapter of Fahrenheit 451 done. The Hearth and the Salamander. Now it's time to go to chapter 2, the Sieve and the Sand. So, without further ado, let's continue, shall we? They rode the long afternoon through, and while the cold November rain fell from the sky upon the quiet house, they sat in the hall because the parlor was so empty and grey-looking without its wall lit with orange and yellow confetti and skyrockets, and women in gold mesh dresses and men in black velvet pulling 100-pound rabbits from silver hats. The parlor was dead, and Mildred kept peering in at it with a blank expression as Montag paced the floor and came back and squatted down and read a page as many as 10 times aloud. We cannot tell the precise moment when friendship is formed. As in filling a vessel drop by drop, there is at last a drop which makes it run over. So in a series of kindness there is at least one which makes the heart run over. Montag sat listening to the rain. Is that what it was in the girl next door? I've tried so hard to figure. She's dead. Let's talk about someone alive, for goodness sake. Montag did not look back at his wife as he went trembling along the hall to the kitchen, where he stood a long time watching the rain hit the windows before he came back down the hall in the grey light, waiting for the tremble to subside. He opened another book. That favorite subject, myself. He squinted at the wall. That favorite subject, myself. I understand that one, said Mildred. But Clarice's favorite subject wasn't herself. It was everyone else, and me. She was the first person in a good many years I've really liked. She was the first person I can remember who looked straight at me as if I counted. He lifted the 2 books. These men have been dead a long time, but I know the words point one way or another to Clarice. Outside the front door in the rain, a faint scratching. Montag froze. He saw Mildred thrust herself back to the wall and gasped. Someone! The door. Why doesn't the door voice tell us? I shut it off. Under the door slit, a slow, probing sniff, an exhalation of electric steam. Mildred laughed. It's only a dog, that's what. You want me to shoo him away? Stay where you are. Silence. The cold rain falling, and the smell of blue electricity blowing under the blocked door. Let's get back to work, said Montag quietly. Mildred kicked at a book. Books aren't people. You read and I look all around. But there isn't anybody. He stared at the parlor that was dead and grey as the waters of an ocean that might teem with life if they switched on the electronic sun. Now, said Mildred, my family is people. They tell me things. I laugh. They laugh. And the colors. Yes, I know. And besides, if Captain Beatty knew about these books, she thought about it. Her face grew amazed, and then horrified. He might come and burn the house and the family. That's awful. Think of our investment. What should I read? What for? What for? Why? Said Montag. I saw the damnedest snake in the world the other night. It was dead, but it was alive. It could see, but it couldn't see. You want to see that snake? It's at emergency hospital where they filed a report. They filed a report on all the junk the snake got out of you. Would you like to go and check the file? Maybe you'll look under Guy Montag, or maybe under fear or war. Would you like to go to the house that burnt last night and rake ashes for the bones of the woman who set fire to her own house? What about Clarice McClellan? Where do we look for her? The mortgage. Listen. The bombers crossed the sky over the house, gasping, murmuring, whistling like an immense invisible fan circling in emptiness. Jesus God, said Montag. Every hour, so many damn things in the sky. How in hell did those bombers get up there? Every second of our lives. Why doesn't someone want to talk about it? We've started and won 2 atomic wars since 2022. We've started and won 2 atomic wars since 2022. Is it because we're having so much fun at home we've forgotten the world? Is it because we're so rich and the rest of the world's so poor and we just don't care if they are? I've heard rumors. The world is starving, but we're well fed. Is it true? The world works hard and we play. Is that why we've hated so much? I've heard the rumors about hate, too, once in a long while, over the years. Do you know why? I don't, that's sure. Maybe the books can get us half out of the cave. They just might stop us from making the same damn insane mistakes. I don't hear those idiot bastards in your parlor talking about it. God, Millie, don't you see? An hour a day, 2 hours with these books, and maybe the telephone rang. Mildred snatched the phone. And she laughed. Yes, the White Clown's on tonight. Montag walked to the kitchen and threw the book down. Montag, he said, you're really stupid. Where do we go from here? Do we turn the books in and forget it? He opened the book to read over Mildred's laughter. Poor Millie, he thought. Poor Montag. It's mud to you. It's mud to you, too. But where do you get help? Where do you find a teacher this late? Hold on. He shut his eyes. Yes, of course. Again, he found himself thinking of the Green Park a year ago. The thought had been with him many times recently, but now he remembered how it was that day in the city park when he had seen that old man in the black suit hide something quickly in his coat. The old man leapt up as if to run, and Montag said, "Wait, I haven't done anything," cried the old man, trembling. No one said you did." They had sat in the green soft light without saying a word for a moment, and then Montag talked about the weather, and then the old man responded with a pale voice. It was a strange, quiet meeting. The old man admitted to being a retired English professor who had been thrown out upon the world 40 years ago when the last liberal arts college shut for lack of students and patronage. His name was Faber. His name was Faber, and when he finally lost his fear of Montag, he talked in a cadence voice, looking at the sky and the trees and the green park. And when an hour had passed, he said something to Montag, and Montag sensed it was a rhymeless poem. Then the old man grew even more courageous and said something else, and that was a poem too. Faber held his hand over his left coat pocket and spoke these words gently, and Montag knew if he reached out, he might pull a book of poetry from the man's coat. But he did not reach out. His hands stayed on his knees, numbed and useless. "I don't talk things, sir," said Faber. "I talk the meaning of things. I sit here and know I'm alive." That was all there was to it, really. An hour of monologue, a poem, a comment, and then, without either acknowledging the fact that Montag was a fireman, Faber, with a certain trembling, wrote his address on a slip of paper. "For your file," he said, "in case you decide to be angry with me." "I'm not angry," said Montag said, surprised. Mildred shrieked with laughter in the hall. Montag went to his bedroom closet and flipped through his file wallet to the heading, "Future Investigations?" Faber's name was there. He hadn't turned it in and he hadn't erased it. He dialed the call on a secondary phone. The phone on the far end of the line called Faber's name a dozen times before the professor answered in a faint voice. Montag identified himself and was met with a lengthy silence. "Yes, Mr. Montag." "Professor Faber, I have a rather odd question to ask. How many copies of the Bible are left in this country?" I don't know what you are talking about." We got a new character now. "I want to know if there are any copies left at all. This is some sort of trap. I can't talk to just anyone on the phone. How many copies of Shakespeare and Plato?" "None. You know as well as I do. None." Faber hung up. Montag put down the phone. "None." A thing he knew of course, from the firehouse listings, but somehow he had wanted to hear it from Faber himself. In the hall, Mildred's face was suffused with excitement. "Well, the ladies are coming over." Montag showed her a book. "This is the Old and New Testament, and don't start that again. It might be the last copy in this part of the world. You've got to hand it back tonight, don't you? Captain Beatty knows you got it, doesn't he?" "I don't think he knows which book I stole. But how do I choose a substitute? Do I turn in Mr. Jefferson, Mr. Ford, which is less valuable? If I pick a substitute and BT does know which book I stole, he'll guess with an entire library here." Mildred's mouth twitched. See what you're doing? You're ruining us. What's more important, me or that Bible?" He was beginning to shriek now. Sitting there like a wax doll melting in its own heat. He could hear BT's voice. "Sit down, Montag. Watch, delicately, like the petals of a flower. Light the first page. Light the second page. Each becomes a black butterfly. Light the third page. From the second and so on. Chain smoking. Chapter by chapter, all the silly things the words mean. All the false promises. All the second-hand notions. And time-worn philosophies. There, said Beatty, perspiring gently. The floor littered with swarms of black moths that had died in a single storm. Mildred stopped screaming as quickly as she started. Montag was not listening. There's only one thing to do, he said. Sometime before tonight, when I give the book to Beatty, I've got to have a duplicate made. You'll be here for the White Clown tonight. And then late. You'll be here for the White Clown tonight, and the lady's coming over, cried Mildred. Montag stopped at the door, with his back turned. Millie? A silence. What? Millie, does the White Clown love you? No answer. Millie, does... He licked his lips. Does your family love you? Love you very much. Love you with all their heart and soul, Millie. He left her blinking slowly at the back of his neck. Why you ask a silly question like that? He felt he wanted to cry, but nothing would happen to his eyes or his mouth. If you see that dog outside, said Mildred, give him a kick for me. He hesitated. Listening at the door, he opened it and stepped out. The rain had stopped and the sun was setting in the clear sky. The street and the lawn and the porch were empty. He let his breath go in a great sigh. He slammed the door. He was on the subway. I'm numb, he thought. Why did the numbness really begin in my face, in my body? The night I kicked the pill bottle in the dock, like kicking a buried mine. Okay, continue. The numbness will go away, he thought. It'll take time, but I'll do it. Or Faber will do it for me. Someone somewhere will give me back the old face and the old hands the way they were. Even the smile, he thought. The old burnt-in smile. That's gone. I'm lost without it. The subway fled past him. Cream tile, jet black. Numerals and darkness, more darkness, and total adding itself. Once as a child he had sat upon a yellow dune by the sea in the middle of the blue and hot summer day, trying to fill a sieve with sand, because some cruel cousin had said, fill this sieve and you'll get a dime, and the faster he poured, the faster it sifted through with a hot whispering. His hands were tired, the sand was boiling, and the sieve was empty. Seated there in the mist of July without a sound, he felt the tears move down his cheeks. Now as the vacuum underground rushed him through the dead cellars uptown, jolting him, he remembered the terrible logic of that sieve. He looked down and saw that he was carrying the open Bible. He was carrying the Bible open. There were people in the suction train, but he held the book in his hands, and the silly thought came to him. If you read fast and read all, maybe some of the sand will stay in the sieve. But he read, and the words fell through, and he thought, in a few hours, there will be Beatty, and here will be me handing this over. So no phrase must escape me. Each line must be memorized. I will myself do it. He clenched the book in his fists. Trumpets blared. Demonstrative